today on his show because he is not happy about the administration holding up all the evidence, stopping all this. I don't think Tucker's right about this, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And also, Fox News might be the reason that this story is staying alive. They are the reason that it is staying in the press, pressing the administration for answers. Why? I don't know, but I will show you the evidence. First, the latest is, of course, the DOJ and the FBI issuing a joint statement that Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced, deceased former financier, sex trafficker, he was not killed, that he committed suicide. No, we're not going to see the evidence. We'll get to that in a minute. But also that there is no client list whatsoever. Case closed. We're not releasing anything else. Move on. We're pulling the Jedi trick on you. Nothing to see here. Problem is, in February, as you all probably know by now, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, told John Roberts at Fox News this.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So the client list was on her desk at the moment, and it was Fox News that got that answer that will forever be a central part of the story. Also, at the time, President Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, who is now the interim U.S. attorney, I believe, in New Jersey, she told Piers Morgan that there were flight logs and names that they had that she had seen that would soon be released. That's a big problem for the Trump administration as to what is or is not in those Epstein files and what they have or have not seen. And once again, piece number 2 here of how Fox News, and I am not their defender, don't you worry, how they are keeping this story instead of ignoring it and burying it as you might expect. Peter Doocy getting after Carolyn Leavitt, the press secretary, and I think a pretty solid interaction.
Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to. And
Carolyn Leavitt called on Peter Doocy thinking he would clearly steer the conversation in another direction, in a Fox-friendly direction, and Peter didn't take it. I got to tell you, I worked with Peter Doocy at Fox News many years ago, and he sucked. And I was pissed that he was a product of his dad getting him a job, of nepotism. He didn't have to pay his dues in South Dakota and Oklahoma the way I did and the way we all did. He has become a very good White House reporter. He's become one of my personal favorites, asking the questions that I genuinely think need to be asked. Hello, Angel. Thanks for being in. Please tell your friends, get them on here. Tell them when we are going live. So again, that story not going the way they wanted to, what Carolyn Leavitt said is, well, when Pam Bondi referred to the client list that was on her desk, she was strictly referring to the Epstein file, that she didn't mean to say that the client list was on her desk. Oh, well, okay, maybe. And the administration continues to think, hey, so much going on, including a devastating situation down in Texas that deserves all of our attention and all of our sympathy. But the reporters are not letting it go. And I'll tell you why. MAGA Nation is pissed. They were lied to. They were made fools of about this very story, kept alive thinking that it was the Clintons that were being covered up here. And now they want explanations. So when Laura Loomer, one of the most influential members of the MAGA universe, with something as a national security advisor, makes noise about this, and when Tucker Carlson makes noise about this, it's going to stay alive. And thanks to Peter Doocy for keeping it there. But then Trump was asked today at his cabinet meeting, which, let's be clear, these are intended for praise only. We're going to go around the circle. Everyone's going to tell me something nice, and the press is going to do the same. Well, the press was not playing around when they asked President Trump about the Epstein files and the BS report from the DOJ and the FBI that was once the deep state, and now MAGA says, oh, wait, it's now Trump's deep state that is protecting him. Here was Trump's reaction to being asked about it.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
He has a point on the Texas factor. But if you were going to ask about any of his accomplishments, if you asked about immigration, he would talk for 19 minutes. This, to many people in the country, is an important issue, and I'll tell you why it is. And it's not some despicable scandal that we should ignore. Hundreds, if not thousands, of children were exploited, were abused, were maybe raped, and millions of Americans want to know what billionaires, what people in power committed these crimes on young women and for some reason getting away with it. The only person that's gone to jail is Ghislaine Maxwell. Why has no perpetrator been jailed for this? It's disgusting. So to dismiss this as some fringe scandal is not right, because at the heart of this, there's a lot of young women who were hurt here and whose lives will never, ever be the same. Pam Bondi then chimed in and said again, as Carolyn Levitt said, I was talking about the Epstein file, not a client list, when John Roberts asked about that. She also said, as per the evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was committed suicide but was not killed, yet there's one key minute missing from the footage, the security footage. The only minute that matters. And Carolyn Levitt suggested that that same minute is missing from every single tape, and they will come forth with that evidence. The only minute missing from the security footage is the minute in which Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. No one on the right, no one on the left, no one in the middle is stupid enough to believe that. Everyone knows he was killed in one form or another. Not sure if it was from an inmate or a guard, but it is clear this man did not commit suicide. And if somehow they come back and show that that minute of tape is missing from every night of the security cam, this is like A Few Good Men. Someone doctored the flight logs. That is utter BS. Fugazi on anything this administration says. Yeah, no doubt about that. Nakona's full. They are full of it. You are both great. So glad we have found you. Hey, very much appreciate that. Please love the feedback. Any questions, tell your friends to subscribe and to like the channel. Love the show. We very much appreciate any of that feedback. Not quite done yet, because Tucker Carlson, another former Fox News guy, he might be the most pissed of anyone in MAGA Nation. He and Laura Loomer, who again, de facto national security consultant or expert or chief. She wants Pam Bondi to get Loomered, but we're going to circle back to that after we listen to what Tucker Carlson had to say on his show today about the importance of this scandal, the administration holding back papers.
As someone who voted for the president, campaigned for the president a lot, I'm not attacking the president, but I think even people who are fully on board with, the bulk of the MAGA agenda are like, this is too much, actually.
Yes.
I'm saying that with love, and I hope that they're listening, because I think this threatens to blow up the whole thing. The whole thing that this tape shows he didn't kill himself is like a joke, but worse than that, it's a joke that we all get. Like, they're not fooling anybody. So I feel like we're at a dangerous point now.
Okay. Wow. Totally right on the second point. It's a joke that somehow we're all being lied to by the DOJ and the FBI administration about the fact that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Does it threaten to blow the whole thing up? I got to say, absolutely not. No way. And I think Tucker's a really smart guy that's got his finger on the pulse of MAGA. The truest thing Trump ever said is that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose any voters. He was spot on when he said that. He's still right today. And come at me, MAGA. I believe that if Trump is in the Epstein files, which I do believe he is, and I'll tell you why in a minute, if he's in them, I still don't think he loses any support. I think the 70 plus million Americans that voted for him would still vote for him today and will probably try to vote for him in an unconstitutional third term. Am I wrong? Do you think I'm right? Will it make any difference if Trump slept with an underage girl? I feel gross saying that, but I do believe it. Laura Loomer, as I mentioned, she came out and said Pam Bondi should be fired. She has said this many times. She's going down the Scientology route. She's gone back to Florida, where she says Bondi may have botched the Epstein investigation there, which I think there's very much some evidence of. And then there's Megyn Kelly, who's not always my favorite. I take issue with a lot of things Megyn says, but we align perfectly on what happened when Pam Bondi invited these MAGA influencers to the White House to hand them the Epstein files binders. She played them. She made them look like fools. It was public information with everything redacted. She basically handed them a prop and thought they would take a bow. Here's what Megyn Kelly says about the Attorney General, Pam Bondi.
She was too lazy to actually figure out none of this is new. And yet she called a meeting with the influencers that included Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, and the sitting vice president. So she's either lazy and incompetent, or she willingly humiliated some of the president's most loyal supporters. Neither one of those is good, and that's why I'm sorry, but I'm going to predict her days are numbered as a member of the Trump administration.
I disagree, though I think Loomer, again, carries a lot of influence. Megyn doesn't have any over Trump, but Loomer does. I don't think Pam Bondi gets fired, and ONG, MAGA will always vote for Trump. Sad but true. We agree on that. Spot on. GC, thanks again. ON, we appreciate you guys coming in. I don't think she gets fired, Pam Bondi, because she is basically Trump's attack dog, his personal attorney. And if she has seen anything, then he ain't firing her. Because if she has seen Trump in these files, she ain't going anywhere. Unless there's a safe Senate seat that she can be appointed to, or a cushy cabinet job elsewhere, or an ambassador of something. I don't think he's going to dispense with her because of what she may have seen. But then again, this is The Apprentice after all. Trump has no hesitation about kicking anyone off the island because he knows he has more power than them, unless, of course, they know the goods on the Epstein files. Also, Democrats today, led by House Judiciary ranking member Jamie Raskin and 15 other Democrats, sent a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi demanding to know why they are covering up evidence to protect President Trump. So finally, Democrats, powerless as they may be, are getting involved in this story. One other Fox Newser, and again, Fox News fingerprints are all over this story in a good way. Glenn Beck is demanding that Pam Bondi be fired, and he believes that Jeffrey Epstein was killed, and he believes the administration is holding back on truthful evidence. So again, lots of Fox News angles here, which is not common when trying to get to the truth of uncovering what this administration may have done. So I mentioned earlier why I think, and this is as we wrap it up, why I know that President Trump is guilty. And I know I laugh about this a little bit, but if you've ever played poker, if you've ever read body language, if you can look in someone's eyes and be like, damn, you're a bad liar. And he's a pretty good liar. President Trump is a pretty good liar. The final piece of Fox News evidence here is they gave me all the evidence I need to know. A show I used to anchor, Fox and Friends Weekend, which was at the time of this clip anchored by Pete Hegseth, now Defense Secretary. I should have stayed. This is all I need to know about President Trump's innocence or guilt as related to the Epstein files. Pay attention to body language and to the speed of the early answers.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
And that is a man who is very careful about spreading phony stuff. I mean, just ask Robot Joe Biden. I mean, just ask the cats and dogs those illegal immigrants had for lunch. He's super careful about phony.
Yeah. Oh, I did not add the laughter. That was, of course, the Kimmel audience, but he brings up a great point. Yeah, Trump is very cautious when it comes to fake stuff getting out there. Ask those illegal immigrants who are eating dogs. But again, the body language, he just gets all uncomfortable. It's yes, I want to be careful. I'm not worried about phony stuff getting out there. I mean, bro, that was textbook lying. Like, if you're an interrogator, you're like, I'm not going to need a lie detector test. You just confessed. So that's all I need. I leave you with this question. Even if we find out Trump is in the Epstein files and slept with one of Jeffrey Epstein's underage girls, will it even matter for MAGA universe? What does Tucker Carlson and Laura Loomer and those truth tellers in this instance do then? Maybe they lose them, but will Trump actually lose any support? And will anyone in the Congress, in the House or the Senate abandon him? Sadly, I say no. I pray I'm wrong because I feel disgusted saying that. Socrates, I could be wrong, but if they are busting the chops to keep these files secret, because if it's true, I believe his MAGA universe will dump him. Really? I'm glad to see you say that, Socrates, because I don't think they will dump him at all. I think they'll just get more mad at everyone else. I don't think they will leave him in any number. And most importantly, I don't think anyone in the Senate or the House will abandon him for a second because they're scared of him. And it is sad. It is despicable. I wish we could have a poll on what the impact will be. ONG, Ong says nope as well. Been a pleasure being with you tonight. Please tell your friends to subscribe to Sanity and to like these videos. Very much appreciate the comments. Let's do this once a week. Really enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.